Welcome, race fans. Today we're going to start what I believe is going to end up being a three-part series to cover all the teams and drivers for the 2027 IndyCar Series that starts 1 week from today in St. Petersburg, Florida. Let's get down to it. We're going to start with the teams that I consider the bottom tier teams. These are the teams that are either fairly new or have just struggled as of late, may compete for wins, but not a lot of it is expected of these teams except for to just get it done, get some good points, and maybe, sneak a podium or a win in there. We're going to start that out with IndyCar's newest team, Prema Racing. Prema comes from the Formula 2 ranks. They have a long history of Formula 2 champions in Europe. I'm excited to see what they can bring to the table. They bring with them one veteran and one rookie, both with Prema ties. The veteran driver in the number 90 car back here is Callum Ilott, making his full-time return to IndyCar racing. He ran really well in Juncos racing, which didn't have a lot going for it when they returned. He's been down this road before. It's a good pick to pick a driver who not only knows the schedule, but has been with a team that's trying to get started before and knows what to do with it. He will be teamed with rookie Robert Schwartzman from the Formula 2 ranks, also a Prema grad of Formula 2. Kid showed a lot of talent in Formula 2, won a few races, just not quite good enough to make it into F1. Prema extended him the olive branch to, hey, we're starting an IndyCar team. Would you be interested? He's coming. That's our rookie for Prema Racing. Not a lot is expected of them other than just get their feet wet, compete, and see what they can do in their first year in IndyCar. This brings us to our next team up, Juncos Hollinger Racing. They have new liveries for this year, shown here, the 77 and 78, much more white than black this year. Their drivers will be two veterans returning to the sport full-time. Stingray Robb in the 77, Connor Daly in the 78. It is no surprise Stingray Robb is here mostly because of the financial backing he brings. Not to say he's a terrible driver. We've seen much worse paid drivers. Is he going to compete for a win? Highly unlikely. Is he even going to get top fives? We'll see. Connor Daly's going to be that driver that I think is going to compete for top fives and possibly be in the running to sneak a win should they improve throughout the year. Team's got a lot going for it. I'm happy to see that we do have two full-time cars for Juncos. It looked like that wasn't going to happen this year. They are struggling a little bit financially. Unfortunately, if you've been following in the offseason, Connor Daly had a good sponsor lined up to sponsor him for half the season, including the Indy 500. That sponsor backed out as of now. Juncos is making no determination on his future. He is expected to still be in the car full-time. So that's what we have here with Juncos Hollinger Racing. Stingray Robb in the 77, Connor Daly in the 78. That will bring us to the third team I'd like to talk about, Del Coyne Racing. Del Coyne Racing is entering a partnership with Abel Racing. You see them on the side pod here of Jacob Abel, last year's Indy Next champion. Or Indy Next runner-up, I should say. Jacob Abel ran really strong last year. Yeah, he was mostly in the sport because of his parents' backing. He's got the money to get in. However, he was able to really back that up over the last couple of years and show that he's not just a pay driver. This kid's actually pretty good. Wouldn't be shocked to see him running up front in a few races this year. This 51 car has historically outperformed at Del Coyne Racing. Wouldn't be surprised to see that. And hey, they found one heck of a teammate to show him the ropes there. Renus VK is making his full-time return to IndyCar, moving over from Ed Carpenter Racing, now moving over to Juncos Hollinger, or not Juncos Hollinger, my bad, Del Coyne Racing for the 2027 season. Very interested to see what they can do. Out of the teams that we're going to talk about in this bottom tier, I do believe this team may be the one with the best chance to move up into that mid-tier by the end of the season. And that moves us on to our next team and final team in the bottom tier. And that will bring us to Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, team comprised of veteran Graham Rahal, second, maybe third-year driver, Devlin DeFrancesco. He took a year off from his previous run with Andretti, now moves over to Rahal Letterman Lanigan, and rookie and Indy Next champion last year, Louis Foster. This team shows a lot of promise. However, they have mightily struggled the last couple of years, particularly at Indianapolis. If they can figure out the ovals, they will be a contender. However, the fact that they struggled so badly on the ovals the last couple of years really hampers the rest of their development, and it's starting to show. They won a race a couple years ago on the street courses. They looked good last year on street course. However, as the year progressed, that got worse as they've had to put more money and more funding and more development into their oval package to try to figure that out. Because of that, they've lost a step on the road and street courses. If they can get their oval package figured out, they'll move back into that mid-tier. But it's a really difficult situation when you're not only going from 2 cars to 3, as a lot of these teams, all the teams in this bottom tier are 2-car teams, other than this one, which has the added challenge of a 3rd car, but also the fact that 2 of these 3 drivers don't have a whole lot of experience. Graham Rahal has a ton of experience, but is getting on in years. Devlin DeFrancesco is only in his 2nd, maybe 3rd year in IndyCar here. Not a lot of experience. This is only a 2nd team. And then you bring on a rookie with, Louis Foster looked darn good in Indy Next last 2 years, but he is a rookie. There's a lot of challenges here, and that's why this is going to be my last bottom tier team for 2025. I do expect this team to do well. I expect them to come out the gate hard. I think they're going to fight for that Rookie of the Year. But those struggles on the ovals are going to bite them. I think they're going to look good start of the season. Once we get to Indy, we'll see. If they struggle at Indy the same way they have in years past, that's going to haunt them the rest of the year, and they will struggle just like they have the last 2 years. So that remains to be seen for them. That's it for my 2025 bottom tier teams. We'll move on in the next video to the mid-tier 2025 IndyCar teams. Stay tuned for that.